Hi, friends. I was reading some things this week about faith, about questioning faith, doubting, and some things that adults had to say. There was a survey of thousands of people asking adults, if they felt like when they grew up that they could ask questions about their faith or perhaps doubts about their faith. And 70% of people said they did not feel like they could question, that was not acceptable in their faith tradition. So the Fuller Youth Institute years ago did the Sticky Faith Project. They were looking at kids who grew up in the church, who had a solid, strong youth program that they were involved in, but then after college, don't come back to faith. And why is that? Why does it not stick with them? Why does it not matter? And there's some really interesting data that comes out of that. But one of the things that the research showed is that young people raised in cultures that invite questions, including expressing doubt, fare better as they move into adulthood when it comes to faith. Now, this is not because the adults are answering all of the questions and crushing that doubt, showing them what is true. But it's because kids learn that adults are going to be with them through that process and that their faith is not fragile. It's not unquestionable. It's not something to simply be accepted. And so what a gift that is to be able to ask those questions. So that our role as teachers with children is to set a culture that normalizes asking questions, having doubts, showing that we carry those also, even as we practice trusting and loving God. And so this week in church on Sunday, as we're reading this story about Nicodemus, where Nicodemus is asking Jesus questions, and then we look, we don't hear anything about Nicodemus after this story, except we know that he shows up when Jesus dies. And he shows up with expensive oils to take care of Jesus' body. And I think that just shows the way that Nicodemus felt about Jesus, that he was brave and vulnerable, could ask questions, have doubts, and that he still felt that Jesus was this teacher who welcomed that and who loved still through that. And so it's just such a gift to know that we don't have to have it all figured out as a child, not as a youth, and certainly not as a grown-up either. There are no questions that we are going to ask that God's going to say, that's it. I don't love you anymore. I needed you to believe. We can ask questions, and that's actually what makes our faith stronger, is the wondering, the questioning, and sometimes even the doubting. So it's okay if you don't have it all figured out yet. Thanks be to God for that. Have a good week, friends.